I just finished reading this book, The Story of Edgar Cayce. There is a River by Thomas Segru. This is the life story on Edgar Cayce, and it's so amazing. This man would go into a trance state in the early 1900s, and he would medically diagnose people like down in detail, detailed anatomy. And in his waking state, he had no idea. He had very little education, and he didn't know all the anatomy that he knew when he'd go into this trance state. So there's like a bunch of documentation on this man, and it's so crazy. I just go around right now like asking people like, do you know who Edgar Cayce is? And a lot of people say no. And I just think it's kind of crazy how like that's so fascinating. It's so fascinating. It's so exciting that he would go and he would drop down into these trance states, into these states of like, most of us, like I talk a lot about insulin resistance and being imbalanced in the nervous system. A lot of us are stuck in this high beta wave frequency. This is like a stressful frequency. This is like the mind is just on one. Like the ego has a grip of our nervous system, and we're constantly stuck in this thought process of fight or flight. And that we lack this calmness and this ability to sink into these lower brainwave states, which is what Edgar Cayce would do when he would go to sleep and give all these diagnoses and help thousands and thousands of people. And it's so cool. Like all these brainwave states, they're literally just related to our respiratory rate. So like for instance, if I'm dehydrated or I'm strung out with a ton of caffeine, I'm in this high beta wave frequency. I'm in this like very on, very I just say speed racer, slow down speed racer. I'm in the speed racer frequency, this beta wave frequency. And the more I'm stuck here and not able to take a deep breath and come back into my own self and relax, I'll never be able to get into this delta wave frequency. The reason this is so important is because it's related to melatonin at night. Our ability to go through these cycles, those 90-minute cycles of sleep per night. And so we're supposed to go through like 5 of these stages at night where we're dipping deeper and deeper into these delta wave frequencies. And we know when we go to sleep, like our ego fades away. And that's what fascinates me about like psychedelics and plant medicine, is that when you go into these states of consciousness, the ego drops off and fades away, just like if you were going to sleep, or just like if you were slowing down your breath and simply doing a meditation like as you're awake, or as Edgar Cayce would do. It's so fascinating. And that's why I like that book I talk about too, A Course in Miracles, is it talks about this battle between the ego mind and then the higher mind, the saboteur, the one that wants to go eat everything at 10 p.m., and the higher mind that knows, oh, this is my gut bacteria that just wants to be feeding itself, instead of drinking a little bit of water and going to bed or eating healthier things at night, satiating and feeding those healthier bacteria that are, again, they're all related to these brainwave states. And the Brainmaker book by Dr. David Perlmutter, that was a great book as well, because he talks about how certain bacteria are related to insulin resistance. And we all face insulin resistance in life. Light resistance. Insulin resistance is energy resistance. Light resistance, as we age, we accrue more insulin resistance. As we get into a disease state, our hormones come out of whack. We lose our muscle mass, we're going into insulin resistance. So the question just popped up in my mind, why so resistant? Why so resistant, Time to be insulin sensitive and embrace the light, embrace the amino and fatty acids, because the amino and fatty acids, they actually help us with solar energy. They help us when we go into the sunlight, when we have tons of vitamin E, vitamin C, all these different vitamins, minerals, and nutrients. They help us go into the sunlight and use the solar power, and they help us work out, use our kinetic energy, So it's so beautiful. And I just thought about this. Dr. Rhonda Patrick, she's a great doctor that I've listened to for a while. She talks about how one night of sleep can induce pre-diabetic levels in the blood, which means that we're more insulin resistant, our cortisol is higher. She talks about how a large dose of creatine can actually negate those insulin resistant effects, which is fascinating. And where are we going to get creatine from is those animal-based proteins. There's almost none found in plant-based products. So the animal-based proteins, you get a big dose. Like if I have one short night of sleep, I'm looking for those animal-based proteins because I'm trying to kick back that short night of sleep. Like, yeah, we might have had it, but when I wake up, my biochemistry is up to me and what kind of cascade I want to have going down for the rest of the day. And I know that my brain, when I'm in that pre-diabetic state, my ghrelin, because I'm insulin resistant, my ghrelin, my hunger hormone, is going to be rampant. I'm going to want to eat those donuts and eat that chocolate. I want high caloric carbs because essentially my body is kind of starving. That's what it means to be, having your hunger hormone. The reason the hunger hormone is there is it is a signal to say eat, eat, eat. So, animal-based proteins satiate, and then, breathe and relax and do a meditation, and, everything is in its right place at its right time. If that is what I was going to say, is that's the truth. Everything is in its right place at its right time. Who organized all this? If this wouldn't happen, this wouldn't happen. And there are beautiful things that are going to come today. We just don't even know. When you feel good, when you feel satiated and relaxed, good things come to you. I truly believe that. May you always be blessed with the clarity to know what is and what isn't meant for you. I've got to go. I love you so much. You are so beautiful. Have a beautiful day, and I will catch you later.